What up, what up? This is your Commander Loki. And I'm trying to be a role model and a teacher. That way I can mimic the different ways people wanted to be with their lives and still reflect something satisfactory. But the commander is damaged, so let me bring some things into perspective. This background is organized, very organized. This is a matrix of leadership. This right here is a crown, but it's an inverted crown. See, I don't have the finest jewelers make mine. I have the average person make what is mine and represent it, and I assemble it myself. That's the difference between a person who goes on a spirit quest to become a superior being of some kind, who could be anybody, and somebody who has responsibilities of a rulership or a royalty for some specific reason. You can be better, but you have to have good experiences, and best that you have them with people, so you can associate people with good experiences. So, looking carefully, the top cover was off, Japan Investigator. 2 Big Macs and a Happy Meal, on top of a British boombox used in the movie The Kingsman, supposedly not based on real things. However, supposedly things on the other side of the world are happening. And turns out the Commander Loki, mistreated by cops, a bunch of his people became cops, unaware of the commander's situation. Mr. Sushi, I was a fan of, but he broke my attention from communicating with Japan in a positive manner. And previously, there was a plan in motion, which we will cover later. This Luden's duck alludes to communication with Hideo Kojima under the Division. And his willingness to build bridges. This is the Golden Cobra. It's pretty straightforward. These are some necklaces. And some are more important than others. I like how this crown that I made after completing my spirit quest, learning the symbols, and becoming somebody better than I was yesterday, that I end up looking like a particular type of serpent. I don't particularly cater to snakes or anything, but the subject matter is this in particular, so I'm covering it. as snakes are organized by zoos and particular specialists who have scientific research reasons for looking at such snakes. But that is for those with licenses and those who are in compliance with the law. And there is real flags. This G.I. Joe is a live-action roleplay, but the people are real. And the people it was agitated about with the government and communicating the grievance was real. And so they are real, dead people. And the things that the government did led to my peace deals falling apart, making me angry at the government, doing G.I. Joe, catalyzed by my sensei, who I reflect as Snake Eyes, now on the big screen, divided from my brother, Breacher, Breacher, Breacher. I really am from Broken Arrow, but Broken Arrow means multiple things in multiple languages. Never doubt my evilness, Chosen One. Time for our second bottle of Jerry, St. Elmo's Fire. I'd like to take some time to talk to the other nursery heads or tethers. Thank you for taking action, those of you that did in certain areas. I have noticed in a sensory way that this has taken place. And this is the correct thing to do, and puppet technology is being used, which is not one of the symbols that I am putting out while I was covered. So that's something to keep in mind when dealing with people, is they could be getting puppeted by advanced technology. Continuing on, fire extinguisher, liquid death, nice canned mountain water from Austria. Austria did an excellent job in communicating their willingness to associate with others in what they send to the rest of the world and how they market it very specifically. It shows that these weird, supposedly white supremacist people are actually really great people, and they're connected to people from the country. here in Oklahoma at least. Country and redneck, it all goes hand in hand. There's a reason the term redneck is used. So, in addition, you have the Illuminati symbol of the flying man with the ring of power and wisdom and knowledge, who aided G.I. Joe and stood before the pigeon. On top of a Peter hat, for those who remember and want to play Peter and the Wolf. And to this guy, the Dutch Prince. And I called it out on this guy because he was so squeaky clean. There was no way that they could have gotten away with doing nothing wrong. But here's the facts. He was squeaky clean, and Queen Margaret of Denmark and the Dutch Kingdom are actually the good guys and can call out who the tyrants are. And G.I. Joe knows that this is a magical kingdom. And they are worth listening to on who might be an issue based on what happened here in the United States. You can call me triple vetted. Nothing can stop me from saving my people. And then there will be somebody who says, well, we stopped you. And then in court, if there is a court of law in the United States anymore, will say, and what did the investigators say to you? They said that they stopped me from saving my people. When you play it out like that, it sounds like the government's getting set up through and through. The people you think are there to protect and serve you aren't exactly doing that in the United States. So what are they doing? I mean, I think they're doing concentration camp stuff. So if I haven't covered Israel, yeah, we stood with Israel, but then all the Nazi stuff happened, and concentration camp stuff is happening, and Nazi stuff is happening, like in Germany, in World War II, run the exact same way, and everyone's acting like it's a good idea. Then they put that pedophile shit in the house of his evilness. What were they thinking? I mean, it's like the memes jump from MP3 to MP4 to MP5, and it escalated very quickly. How the hell did that happen? Well, that's a natural progression, and that's the way it's been. Witch Dragon. Boat turn. Peter and the Wolf. This hat, like, looks real cool. And just for the record, this one time I got a boat stuck in a river, then I got overheated and was useless. All useless. And see, for what I truly was, nothing without my people. Okay, so this is Fran Blanche. This is a random person, not one of my people. In terms of Wish Dragon stuff, Fran Blanche can figure out generally that what I put up in for the Ark of Cobra is like a magic carpet or an electrogravitic, well, microwave phaser craft. This guy, if effort is put into what he arranged at Disney, the world will be a much better place. Compliments of the Green Dragon. For those of you who know what that is, and have stood before the pigeon. I'm pretty sure even his evilness, my sensei, has also probably stood there, but I don't know if because he's always been taking G.I. Joe into battle ever since he was a little kid. And that's why weird stuff happened during the Cold War. Because the focus wasn't always on the fight by the people leading it. It was focused on moving computers to where they needed to be. And I think that he understood that the world had to be sure and the guess had to be good. But not just a guess. Alright. So, back to the plan of being a hero for my people and organizing information so that the good guys can do the good outcome. And discover the people who are pretending to be good guys, the frame job artists. This is Captain Melba Sines of the Texas Rangers. This is ultimately a good person who will help you, but needs extra help around her to become a horde, and that horde will be able to protect and target bigger threats that Captain Melba Sines can anyway, basically she can assist with the Disney stuff. This right here is because the Tracy Stone Manning is, I was the person tracing the ancient stuff and intentions of the stone man looking people who appeared with rings. Pretty straightforward. Once I get the damage to my voice box or whatever fixed, then I can communicate what's going on. And somehow nobody did the right thing when this occurred, and more of what everyone didn't want to happen began occurring. And the breachers couldn't help you anymore. And it's not the breachers' fault. The breachers only appeared because everyone was doing the wrong thing to begin with and continued to make it worse if somebody didn't gather a larger group of people to convince people to do the right thing. And instead, the bad people, or whatever, figured that out and or turned it into profit to do so, and the world spiraled out of into peril even more. Like, Japan's people are programmed with serious mental health issues, and they have engaged themselves to push and keep themselves on the brink, just like here in the mental health systems in the United States. Now, this is a person who is capable of figuring out microwave phaser craft. And so therefore, she would be either a black or a red, but it wouldn't matter because it's weird Nazi shit in the United States. And that's basically what's going down with me being a weird Jew. So she would be like, weird Jew, hadn't gotten it figured out whether or not they should categorize this person because they're hunting, the U.S. government is hunting gnomes in general. And if a gnome figures this out, then they are eliminated. So they can't tell anyone else. And that's the dirty thing that's been done here in the United States. But it's also been done in other parts of the world to other kinds of people, to different forms of government, which, I look at wins and pro things I say about other governments and other countries and other people and other leaderships and rulerships. When I say pro things, I'm not necessarily aligning myself with them, but if they get some sort of economic or money-based exchange that they arrange, then good for them if, all parties were happy in trade and enrichment or whatever. And in the United States, it's so bad that the government investigating my microwave phaser craft video, which is for the Ark of Cobra, this person on the internet could understand what it is, but the government couldn't figure it out for years. So I, retarded with half a brain, Commander Loki, have taken on personifications that my people decided that they wanted to get involved with. Alright. When I said Wish Dragon, here's how badass Wish Dragon is already. Here's what's going on legally that people don't know. Tracy Stone Manning, really serious about Senator Rich's intelligence officers being a bunch of frame job artists working for Hungarian saboteurs. This is brainworms and Geostrongilius canonicius, or whatever, that I've been inflicted by. So the commander is being hurt long term. And Texas Rangers and U.S. Marshals and retired sleeper group of magistrate judges working for Hungary gave me brainworms because the Huns attacked the Song dynasty and ultimately were defeated by this thing, which has been used as a siege warfare for a very long time by Hungarian saboteurs from the turn of the century. And they've done all the things that they wanted. And years ago, when I was serving in the National Guard, at Operation Gratitude, nonetheless, helping veterans, I was threatened by somebody who took one of these and converted it to, which is a Davy Crockett atomic rocket, basically, and turned it into a Neutron XM Series 1, mounted it to the inside of one of these Dodge Sprinters, and drove up to me with a bunch of guns while I was on gate guard, which is basically just traffic control for events, and threatened to blow me up. So I ran from the city because I thought people might get hurt. That is how crazy and out of control the government is. And that was in 2011, I believe. It was before 2012 when I really turned up my spirit quest because I realized I needed some guidance before I tried to take on, whatever kind of crazy government conspiracy was going on. Because I had been iced so hard. Anyway, so this right here, sitting off the coast, and this right here appears to me to be an old school defense system that people from the Nazi nurseries who continue warfare when a peace deal could just be reached, and unnecessarily go out of their way to do things to cause harm to innocent bystanders or whatever, and making other countries' people do it so no one takes the blame when there are people to blame, and they can be located and they can be stopped from triggering it, because that is definitely what is occurring. And The Three Adventures of Davy Crockett tells you how they ended up today, but I didn't really cover that. That's not my area. I couldn't do anything about it because nobody stood behind me. I needed a horde, and I needed it like 20 years ago. Instead, I got backstabbing, and nobody was ever there for G.I. Joe except somebody who was persistent. And it was like everyone had been turned off to always doing nothing. And so therefore, Dimension G.I. Joe, as far as all breachers are concerned, is a Oort Cloud destined dimension. And breachers just want to stand out of the way of what happens and unfolds or whatever. But that's not true. It's always been happening. The Oort Cloud goes everywhere. It's cyclic, and that's what that whole Mayan stuff was about. The Oort Cloud, it's all rock. Or it might as well be. The Earth going, the crust going over itself. That will occur when the Oort Cloud comes around. So, anyway, this crazy nonsense needs to be stopped some frickin' way. Let's put it this way. This didn't necessarily cause that. The wand didn't cause that. The red wand didn't cause that. And neither did the breachers. Shinoda, I notice you also wear a leather hat. And it is a fine hat, I must say. Remember years ago, dinner at Nagoya with Shinoda. I believe you, Shinoda, to be an honorable Japanese man who also knows what the burden is of handling orphans with a ailment and the government not being helpful to you. And I also met many years ago with the Emperor of Japan and the Empress, the Princess of Japan. And they stood there with blank pieces of paper to announce a peace deal. But it never happened because the words were blank. They weren't there. That's the problem with our world, and nobody is doing any peace deals. Right before the Oort Cloud hits. And in case you don't know what the Oort Cloud is, it's like an asteroid field or a million years of war, whichever you prescribe to, and a shifting of the Earth's crust, consolidated all at one time because of the mistakes of the past with humanity. And this is like that God level stuff that you have to refer to the Bible to. And for my people, I look, and if it says, if ye be evil, then I have to consider my movements and my gestures in accordance with Cobra Commander, who had remote viewing or detector capability, and one day united with his brother after a short time of being very angry that he had been using resources against his brother unnecessarily when they should have been working on the same thing. But it never happened. Because when the opportunity came, people couldn't think of a beneficial solution for both people, only for profit or something. But then, nobody seemed to profit. Nobody made any money. So, keep in mind, Shinoda, that if people don't want to make any money, and you needed money for orphans that you had to decide things with in order to take care of them in the past, a long time ago, then you understand what it is I'm talking about when it comes to having honor. And then I want you to consider this technology that you could be working with if you decide so, to befriend me and my orphans, the young pioneers. Then we could eventually put together a team for Japan's honor and get something for the Emperor of Japan. And I think that my sensei would consider this a good step towards peace and stability with Japan. So dream bigger and strike with honor from a higher and elevated position above the roof where Japan strikes now. So the battle zone will be G.I. Joe if you are doing this, so you have to go about it in an artful way where you aren't using any kind of weapon that wouldn't otherwise be used on you. And that is the trick. And if you've already had that done to you, then you can keep that weapon. But you still have to play by those rules. Because these breachers can do whatever they want and come from wherever they want. And it's very important to remember when you start using this technology that you have it legitimately and you're using it for a noble cause and it be easily explainable. And what you're doing to correct things that are issues is very complex. And this is fine. And then the breachers will leave you alone or help you in one way or another. The ones where everyone helps, you get a specific technology. It's like a hoverboard from Back to the Future, right? But it transforms into something like this that you can control the height to any height except for that which you cannot breathe. And it's a microwave phaser board that transforms from something that's reasonably sized, like a skateboard, into something that is the size of a miniature four-wheeler like we had in the country here in Oklahoma. And you would also pave the way for dome building with some of the people of Cobra. It would change the way Japan behaved, so you didn't have to worry about the problems that programming from the Nazi nurseries has done to Japan's people. Now, just to be clear, my people have always followed traditional Japan and have always followed the emperor and have always followed the laws. And these are my Japanese wizard family I talk about. So, if you're looking for problems, my people know where to point the finger, and it isn't at the Great Shinoda. I'm saying you could make the world a better place for Japan when in a way that is extraordinary, and my people would be willing to help you do it because it would have this many lives to be able to be saved. This is important to my people, the young pioneers, and the victims that I have to end up caring for, but can't explain that they all need to be taken care of, and that things I did in the past were not the commander in control, but the commander being puppeted into becoming the Merlin. And remember this: since I like you, my people should treat you well. And remember, if the emperor and the princess figure out the correct words for the peace deals, then people will be working to solve an issue instead of point the finger and punish somebody, because that is what created the problem to begin with. It appears as though no one is leading. And the reason that I say this is I'm wearing a cool hat slash crown, and this little video explained, which got printed or put out into the media at this time. It's 2021. This got put out in the media, and nobody's caught on that this is what happened, but due to poor decisions, nobody learned anything.
Cool, baby. You're very special.
Thank you, Master.
No, baby. Oh, that's you, Husky. Unbelievable. You learned all the success of the device in the Japanese custom, but they receive a bonus. Oh, bonus! That's good. Where be a freaking bonus here? Oh! Well, that was an exercise, little girl. Thank you. Oh, you're not joking. Well, if you don't give me the bonus. Hey, Scotty, how are you, Just let me take care of this.
So, yeah, Scotty caused problems and got the icers brought to somebody in charge in law enforcement. Big ones. So, the old G.I. Joe was to take the former reformed individual and to train them with little flashlights as though they were bigger icers with a longer range so they could get the people with the little icers at the shorter range. But the problem is, we're facing people with bigger icers as the frame job artists who retired from Inspector General's investigations and ran all the security clearances. So anyway, these mere flashlights represent sharks with lasers on their heads in the Austin Powers and Goldmember, and I am Dr. Evil. Except for real, because it was all based off of me and how the court case went all crazy, and one of the brothers ended up fighting the other brother, and nobody figured out why all this bad stuff happened. But it's the whole world, not the breacher. So, I'm the little drummer boy, but this is also zombies. And there's this thing that says I'm in charge of a cult, which is not true, and I'm not in charge of anybody. People have a choice to do whatever they want, and I have affirmed as best I could, without being able to communicate directly with people who demanded communication, who got bent and twisted ideas because of the way communication with my people, the young pioneers, and also the people of Cobra, has gotten twisted due to all the horrible experiences of the commander. And so, what I'm saying is, my movements were meant to heal people, and people are doing the wrong thing. And it proves that there's something wrong with their mind. They're going down when they should be wanting to go up. There's something wonderful hung in front of them, and they're just disregarding it down the hole. Now, China, I mostly, just let go, but all I'd say to China is just ask yourself, do you want these bad things to happen to you? If you don't, then I would do the right thing in the situation for what you would like to happen. And I point these things out. Back in the day, this was supposed to go down, but nobody could remember what they were supposed to do. And it is actually a story that is more widespread. It's just called something different. It is the story of the god Janus and a multi-role individual who would rise up from being just an average, ordinary, whatever they were, into something necessary in a special situation. And there is a dragon that guides the way. This is a wish dragon. And my people, if they follow the same way the Bible can be read as instructions, if ye be evil and don't know the answers to what you're supposed to do for the Bible, and about like God and all that stuff, then you can't follow its instructions properly. And in this way, China will fight back the sea. And I say to China, why fight back the sea when the sea can help you, and you can just add to your fleet another fleet? Then you don't have to defend your stuff anymore. Then you don't have to fight yourself. And then you can remember the gift that the sea dragon will bring you. Like the two-faced god Janus. One is nice and pretty looking, but not necessarily the treasure you're wanting. And Japan is having trouble with honor. So, instead of react badly, what you could do is help them figure out how to get the honor that they need. I do recall missing plans for a microwave phaser craft that was very, very advanced. A treasure I was responsible for. Stolen by a thief. And so I say, Illuminati, men may rule, serpents never. I am a serpent, and I need to lead. Will you aid me for the pigeon? Stand by G.I. Joe with everyone who has stood by the pigeon so far. And all at once, maybe those coin tosses can mean something at that fountain. All we need to do is combine Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, and we'll create their Wish Dragon. And then we can get the peace deals done. And the people who want to make more money can go to jail or prison like they're supposed to, instead of the other way around. And so people don't fight their own populations, and that infinite is spread to all. As in, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, everybody gets a car that flies and teleports to whenever and wherever it needs to as a people. If, let's say, the Oort cloud comes around and there's no breacher to aid you, like it said in the Bible.